freedom in red, white, and blue this 4th of July. Come on down and check out Dream Motors, where we have some great deals on pre-owned cars, trucks, and we have a few side-by-sides on the lot as well. Come on down and celebrate freedom of the road with Dream Motors, located here in Dillon, Montana.
Well, welcome to Extra Point on Southwestern Montana News. Our program today brought to you by Dennis Scherg of Edward Jones, 82 Coffee Company, Susan McRae Accounting, Dream Motors, and Town & Country. Okay, in the studio today, a couple of people that look really, really calm and collective considering that there's this gigantic historic moment just a couple of weeks away. Michael Feuling, Director of Athletics at Montana Western, and Lindsey Branch, Assistant Athletic Director. And because I used to be one of these, I'm going to throw that in too, and Sports Information Director. They are our guests today on Extra Point, and welcome, guys.
Oh, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate you taking time out of your day. But before we start talking about what we're here for, my fellow SID. I mean, you can chip in if you want to.
You guys are a lot smarter than I am, so we'll take it from there.
So, Linz, September 30th, 1949. Significance of that date.
First game at Vigilante.
See, she's got the SID mind.
She makes it work.
Yeah. So, here's a little background on that game. We won 13-0 over the Montana School of Mines, which is now Montana Tech. The game was played in a driving rainstorm. And the interesting thing about that driving rainstorm, they had played it later in the afternoon. There was no lights at Vigilante Field.
Oh.
There was very few bleachers at Vigilante Field. Vigilante Field was just kind of stuck down in the middle of all this land that somebody had given the college. So what they did is they brought all the cars around and turned the lights on, and that's how they lit up the game.
That's awesome.
The interesting, when I was looking at that, the interesting thing I found out, and I wrote this, there was not much hoopla about the move to Vigilante Field. No parade, no big ceremony, just a football game. And then I said maybe the rain dampened the spirit a little bit. But the thing is the Beavers played that week too. And in both articles, they just talked about, I think one of the college articles, they talked about new field, and that was the extent of the mention of a brand new stadium. And other than that, here we are 76 years later.
Times have changed.
Yeah, so guys, September 7th, 2024.
Yeah. No, it's going to be a tremendous day. There's a lot of work going into it in the background. Obviously there's some things that still got to get done construction-wise, but it's one that we've been looking forward to well before my arrival here, and it's one that a lot of people have put a lot of hard work into. Roxanne England has done a tremendous job in fundraising and seeing this project through, and Michael Brown, MB at our place, and then Tanner Loggy, just really working to make it work. Often people see the new shiny toy and everything that comes with it. Well, there's a lot of work that goes behind it, and there's a lot of coordination and a lot of things. I know our team is excited and ready to play, and it'll be a very exciting, anxious game. I think for not so much for our players and coaches, but for us game day administrators, there's a lot of newness.
Yes.
With newness comes, the unknown, and sometimes, the unknown is the scary part.
Well, you were talking about when the thoughts of a new stadium first came about. I almost think you have to take the old time machine back to the 1994, 1995, 1993, when the Bulldog football, they turned, they hadn't had some good years, and then they turned into championship years, went to the playoffs for the very first time. And there was talk then, we got a new grandstand over there out of it, but there was talk, and the common phrase was, wouldn't it be nice to have a stadium on campus? Yep. Wouldn't that be a nice thing to have? Yep. So we don't have to say that anymore. It's there.
It is, and it's going to provide, again, just a place for people to come and see. And we've already got people coming out and seeing, even though it's still an active construction site, and it just shows the hype and the hoopla around it, and that's what we wanted, and it just again shows the excitement.
Well, 2 weeks away, and my thing was, are we ready? And then you said, maybe. I'm gonna give you a break a little bit and talk some SID stuff. So, Lindsey, I've shared pictures from my days at Western when we had to walk up a rickety ladder and then go up another staircase to get to a press box that sat all by itself. And then it evolved to the grandstand with a press box that had a ladder that the nails were there from the time that I was there until you were there.
Yes.
I'm sure you got poked a couple times, but you have an honest to goodness, real live press area now. How's that feel?
It's exciting. I'm excited to see what it finishes out because it's still in progress. But the first time going up into it, I did still have to climb a ladder about a month ago to get into it. So that was exciting. Brought me back to I think my first year here, I sat on the bottom and I contemplated for 30 minutes whether I was going to climb that ladder or not. And then as I was done, it was 30 minutes. How do I get down this ladder? Because I am terrified of heights. So I am very excited to have a press box that I can just climb a couple easy steps and get to it.
Well, I know there's something about being set on a cool Saturday afternoon in December with a big open window that you can't close, and there's wind blowing outside, and also that white stuff that comes out of the sky. Yeah, no, I don't miss that at all.
Well, it was a true story. She radioed, got walkies, and she goes, "Is there any other way up?" And I said, "Nope." And I was like, oh, and then immediately I'm sitting there going, I'm going to have to get a new SID after this year, but fortunately stuck around.
Come game days, the adrenaline took over, so I didn't get too scared going up and down that ladder.
Yeah.
About 50 times a day.
Yeah. Are you talking about the ladder within the press box?
In the press box.
Oh.
That ladder thing is like shaky.
Oh, there's no way you would have gone up into the old press box.
Oh, I'm sure. I'd probably get over my fear, but it would take a little while.
Yeah. So, technical wise, I know talking to Michael a while ago, there's a new I don't want to call it a rule. Something's been added to Frontier Conference football game, instant replay, and it's not so we look good on TV. It's so that we have that for the officials.
Yes.
And I heard that's kind of a challenge based on the fact that instead of getting 2 or 3 months to play with the system, have you played with it yet?
It's been set up in my office a few times. It started out as I set it up a couple months ago when it first came in, and then the conference added for our coaches to have iPads on the sideline and in their press box as well. So they get 4 iPads. So that's a completely different system that I just got access to last Friday. So it will take quite a bit of practices when we finally get power to be able to run it at the stadium. So once we get power, which is supposed to be next week, I'll have 2 weeks to nail that down.
You had mentioned in one of our phone conversations that you would be probably doing most of your practicing from the grandstand, not the press box.
Yeah, that's it. Once we get power, I'll get it rolling.
What about scoreboard now? Or do we have a scoreboard in either end, or just
the one end?
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it same type of scoreboard? Daktronics?
It's a Daktronics scoreboard.
Okay.
So like the actual management of using, well, it's the same as Vigilante for the scoreboard running, the clock, the play clock, all that's the same. The only thing different is we actually have a big video board now that we'll be able to put our own content and ads and stuff on.
Okay. Cool. So you're getting closer. And I know you miss organization too. We had talked about this when you first took the job over, what you needed to do, and you would ask me, what I did and stuff like that. And, the bottom line was, you make yourself a list, you call it a manual, whatever you want to do, you write everything down so it's in some form. But I think I told you in closing that little statement, I said, but this thing never ends. There's continually editing it. So you've already got your playbook. This is going on your 3rd year at Western. Mm-hmm. So you've got your playbook. And it's probably right now it's about this thick. But that's not counting the new stuff.
And I think some of that new stuff I'll still figure out come Carroll the last game. I'll still be adding to my playbook.
But one thing you've said, and you're not afraid to recognize them, is you've been blessed with an outstanding crew of student workers.
Yep.
They're awesome. I couldn't do it without them.
You can say more if you want to.
It's as simple as that. We've grown from having just a couple to I think I now have 13 work study on staff, and I'm still working to add more. But each one has a specific job, and they just love what they're doing. And they're excited. Usually they have ideas for me too, and they're just ready to go for it. So.
And one of your work study stud, we'll call him a work study stud, for your very first year, got his own SID job.
Yes, yes. He's at a Division II school now. He transferred there, and he's just started there this last week. So I've been hearing some updates from there. He's really liking it.
Well, the content you guys turn out, just away from the regular stuff, that's called attracting attention to Montana Western and the Bulldogs. So.
And with I'll chime in, and with the way the NAIA college sports and athletics has changed or is going, it's very important. And you have to adapt, and we talk about all the time where, especially for like these first two football games, we have a week 1 plan, then we have a week 2 plan. The week 2 plan will be based off of how week 1 went. But the amount of students, what Montana Western prides itself off of the experience, and a lot of these students that work with Lindsey get that experience. It's the experience one. It's that experiential opportunity that they get, and she does a great job of delegating and putting them in there and putting them in great positions. And most SID staffs, if you go to the D2s, the D3s, NAIs, even some of the bigger NAIs, are 15, 16 deep, and that's full-time or part-time employees. It's Lindsey and work study students, and so that's a testament to them and to her and to what they've been able to do. And so it's the way the nature of the beast is growing, and you have to keep up.
Yeah, it's impressive though, because these are kids that are here like the student athletes, trying to get an education. And contrary to what anybody says, there's a heck of a lot of work that is done behind the scenes for a game. I think I was emphatic to you when we first met how much stuff goes on behind that nobody ever says anything about. And if you don't have that good crew.
Well, and the other thing that's fun too is we just try to create, not only are they working events and under the same amount of stress that I am on game days, we try to do things outside of work. So like I've brought, an Xbox down to the gym and just played games with them on the wall and the gym wall, and just done things to make it fun, not just all the stress of game days and you got to stat this and make sure everything's correct. We also have some fun on the side.
Well, don't you host a little get together at the end of the year?
I do. We do a Christmas and then an end of the year one. And we also just have time where we just hang out after games and just get to know them really well. It's a lot of fun.
Share recipes. I've been in the office when recipes have been passed around.
We've done recipes. We've had all kinds of stuff going on. It's awesome.
No, just a good crew. They always say that one of the key ingredients of a successful coach's degree is how he picks these people. I think you've hit the nail on the head in the world of sports information. Sure, nice. But we're going to come back, and we're going to put the microphone back in front of Michael again. We're going to ask him some hard questions.
Sounds good.
About the Mariners. No, Don. No. No, we're going to ask him some hard questions about some of the other stuff that's going on as we get ready for the debut of Bulldog Stadium, and we'll do that after this message on Southwestern Montana News.
For made in Montana food products, look no further than Town & Country Foods of Dillon.
Okay, back to Extra Point. Our guests today, Michael Feuling and Lindsey Branch for Montana Western. Not going to throw the titles out.
Nope, you're good.
Because I almost want to say in parentheses, confused, sometimes frustrated individuals for the next 2 weeks. Is that about covered?
That's a really good description.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So we're roughly 2 weeks away from the debut. Eastern Oregon's going to come to town, face our defending conference champion Bulldogs. We'll say the field is ready. We'll just kind of loosely say, the one thing that I know you guys have worked really hard on, and one thing that has gotten better as the years have gone by, is the tailgate section.
Yep.
Now they have, is it my understanding, talking to one of my friends last week, there was only 2 or 3 spaces left of the tailgate section, and where is the tailgate section going to be?
Yeah, so as of, I want to say last week or even this Monday when talking with our foundation office in Roxanne, we're sold out, which is phenomenal. It is over behind the chancellor's residence on that practice field up there that we have. And it's just going to be, again, an amazing atmosphere. It's Engine 18 has a prime spot, and it's kind of the thing that we build around with the rich history and tradition there, because they were the ones that kind of really started the whole tailgating. But it's going to be a wild atmosphere. You go to some of these places in the SEC and even the Big Ten, and they talk about the tailgating atmosphere. I think ours rivals it from a small town perspective. It's just an amazing opportunity.
Well, it's what college football is all about.
Absolutely.
I mean, seriously. I mean, when you talk college football, it was always weird in the early days where we would try to have tailgate sections, but they would start and they would go back and start and go back. But the last 7 or 8 years, the momentum has been really and now to have it. A real live tailgate section behind a real live football stadium.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's the good stuff. Okay, now I'm going to be in the press box at the game, but and Lindsey and I are going as friends, and we might even bring Trent with us.
Yep, that's fine.
And we're going to sit there, grandstands, right?
Yep. So the way the grandstands work, we have 2 sections. The 2 on the far end are going to, and those are about 96 each on both sides. Those are general admission, and then there's 3 sections in between those, and those are reserved. And like many of the large stadiums, like at U of M, it's bleacher seating. It'll be numbered. We encourage fans to bring their blankets, their seat cushions, things to enhance their experience. And those are season tickets have been on sale. We're working to get single game tickets up on sale. We're having some few back end issues, but by the time this airs, those will be up and ready to go. And this just gives you the opportunity, unlike at Vigilante where you had to hurry in and you had to lay down blankets, put your seat cushions in, or go and sit. This gives you the opportunity to have these seats for not only this year, but then you get first right of refusal for next year, and we'll have a renewal period. And it's just an opportunity that those are going to be your seats. And again, kind of that's what the aim and the goal for this stadium has been, is to make this part of the community and to make this to where, you have stake in it, where Bulldog fans can have a stake and have a piece of, these are my spots, these are my tickets. If we have, the youth flag football going on during that day and you have to hurry and rush, you don't have to worry about getting a seat. Your seat's saved for you and will be set to go. So that's the bleacher aspect of it, and it'll be a good opportunity for fans.
Why don't you throw out a phone number or something if people want to still come up with a season ticket?
Absolutely. Just go to the website, click tickets, and it'll be listed on there for you. My contact information's on there. Any questions, I'm happy to help.
So you have 2 different websites. So there's a college website and there's the athletic website.
The athletic website.
Okay.
The athletic website,
Okay.
umwbulldogs.com. Yep. and there'll be tickets right up there for you.
And I will throw out another plug for my fellow SID. Nice job on the redesign.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nice job. Okay, so we've got the grandstands,
Yep.
but we also have that nice green,
Yes.
grassy hillside. Do you need to buy a ticket to get over there?
Yeah, so that'll be the general admission. And so when you go online, you can take a look, and it'll say general admission, bleacher, general, and then also the Dillon JC berm. And we encourage fans to bring their blankets, small lawn chairs, have a camp out there and watch the game from a different perspective, a different view. A few of our schools in the Frontier Conference, I'm not going to name them, also have the berm seating, and that's kind of where we got this idea. There's a few other schools throughout the country that have this berm seating concept, and when we were looking at the phases, we decided that for this first phase, we really wanted to make the grandstand special. We really wanted to make the turf special. We really wanted to have some of the key integral parts special. And so as part of phase 2, we'll look at incorporating some bleachers on the visiting side. But I'm a home field guy. I believe in home field advantage. I believe in people not wanting to come and play here. This is what this is about. And being able to have berm seating behind our visitors bench, I can only imagine what that might be like sometimes, but also having the ability for our fans to line up behind the end zones and cheer on the Bulldogs, especially if it's a crucial play or fourth down, whatever it might be. So it's just giving a different opportunity to have a different experience. And so with the berm seating, again, like I said, it's going to have the opportunity to view the game in a different light and a different standpoint. And if you're down there on the berm and you just want to go sit up in the bleachers, go to the general admission bleacher section, and if there's an open spot, go ahead and take a seat. That's, again, we kind of just want to provide the most opportunities that we can.
Well, before we went on, we were talking baseball. We were talking the Little League World Series. There's a kind of I don't think it's a planned event, but it's been a tradition for a number of years, and that's cut up a cardboard box and slide down the hillside. Any plans for any official Bulldogs sliding down the berm?
I'm big on traditions, and as we're trying to think of some new traditions with this new stadium, the smart one over here goes, well, you just remember, you can't just force it. It takes time. Having 11-year-old twin boys at home, I can only imagine, and their buddies, what they'll do at the berm or how they'll create stuff. But no, it's and that's the exciting part, right? It's the opportunity for things that can come about, and it's going to be the things that we're not sitting to think about or to look about, that it's just going to be like, yeah, did you see the kids at the end of the third quarter had a berm race or whatever it might be. So it's just exciting having all these possible opportunities that will be coming up.
That word endless kind of enters into the mix, doesn't it?
It sure does, and especially I think if COVID taught us anything, it's the ability to take something or take what we have and run with it. And being limited, we were limited at Vigilante and what we could do and what we could highlight. This video board, once she gets it up and running, it's going to be endless. You go to some of these big schools and they have the football players on there going, get hyped, and again, it's just another way to interact and show our athletes off. And so it's just, again, endless opportunities equals just an enhanced experience. And we know that it will be, we're just asking for patience. There'll be some growing pains. We're going to work to do our best, but we think by game 2, game 3, we'll have a pretty good understanding.
Well, there's a saying that's been going around for thousands of years, a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yep.
And in this era of visual marketing everything, the stuff that she's done, the stuff that her kids have done and stuff like that is just the average person, they're just saying, oh, okay. But all the stuff that it goes into, there's methods to the madness. And the more visual you get, the more you get people watching and want to see more. So congratulations to both you guys. And I'm on your side, bud. I'm on your side. I can't imagine me having to do all this stuff right now. So, but okay, so we've got the grandstand, we got the berm, we got the tailgate section. Now we got the wacky questions coming up.
Absolutely.
I have one, and Jeremy behind the camera, he said he's heard a couple things, but the one that strikes me, and I've heard a couple of different versions of it. Okay, so the back of the football field or the back of the field, there's a highway that runs.
Yep.
So for some reason, some people think that the highway is here and the football field is here. So if they kick an extra point, it's going to go into the highway.
Yep.
Or there's a good chance a car could slide off the road and come into the football field. Or there's a good chance that a kid going out for a pass could go onto the street.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I've looked at that thing and I'm going, where do they get this stuff from? I don't understand it, but I think it's the old, what we talked about, the old Mayberry general store story. Somebody just, well, what would happen if, and all of a sudden that what would happen if grows.
Yep.
So do you have any of those good stories like that?
Yeah, and I can address though. So there will be a netting that will go up behind the field goal and on the scoreboard side there. If a kid goes out for a pass, we have fencing that's right behind, or you have to have a certain amount of distance between the end of the end zone and then the fencing. That will be a strong kid if they go through the fence and through the
road,
on into the ditch and then up onto the road. So there's a few of those things, but and it all comes like we talked about. The newness it's the unknown. It's the questions, right? And it started back, 72, 74 years ago with Vigilante, and those questions grow, and we just invite people to come out and take a look at it. And it's difficult right now because it's not complete, but once it's complete, we think it will make a lot of sense in terms of where things go. The biggest thing, I can't think of any wacky questions I've gotten.
That was, I thought that kind of covered it though. I mean, that kind of covered the craziness of the whole deal. You told me early in the construction phases that you would go up to the weight room every morning and take a picture. Are you still doing that?
Mental pictures.
Okay.
I find myself getting kind of nervous, as we get closer and closer and things of that nature. But I think as we look at it and we look forward to September 7th and September 6th for our kind of our donor grand opening event right before the Beavers play, I think everything that kind of sums it up for me is when I took over in November, it'll be 3 years, is the fact, and in fact the Chancellor and I were talking about this yesterday, is that this is going to be one of the more unique venues for sure in NAIA, but arguably college football. And the fact that it's here in Dillon, and the fact that we get to be a part of it, the fact that alum like yourself and all the people that are coming back and the excitement and the buzz around it, coming to a small town like Dillon, it gives me goosebumps just talking about it. And when I came here, it was like, everyone kind of says, hey, did you see what the Grizz are doing? You see what the Bobcats are doing? I want it to be, have you seen what the Bulldogs are doing? And it's a testament to our staff. It's a testament to our coaches. Most importantly, it's a testament to our student athletes, that they have put us into, past and present, that they've put us into a position to have the ability on September 7th to come in and play in such a unique setting. The one picture I do have that I do keep on my phone is mid-June, so there was that snow period, but standing from the bleachers and just looking at the Blacktail Mountains. It's hard-pressed to find a better view for all of college football with that in the background. So that's the picture I have, and will always be kind of one of those things that that I cherish.
Well, you figure what we're surrounded by, 5 or 6 mountain ranges, something like that, of the Rockies, and it's like, wow, I get the same feeling sometimes on a tee box,
Yep.
looking out and seeing where I'm teeing off into. There's a reason why Lewis and Clark called it Big Sky Country. And the fact that you say our football stadium is as the backdrop of Big Sky Country really kind of completes everything.
And the other thing too, I'll just kind of say is, the stadium is community. It's not just Montana Western. It's community, and what we're hoping for in phase 2 is so that we can incorporate, one of the things is lights, and obviously getting the high school to be able to, host a night game or 2 up there. But we're doing something interesting this year, and we're really excited about it. Kind of takes the pressure off of Lindsey of having to do all the concessions and everything else. We're partnering with some local companies that we're hoping that they can grow, and we're partnering with SIP 406, 82 Coffee Company, Domino's Pizza, Blissful Berry Bowl. So they'll be serving inside the stadium for concessions, and again, it just adds that experience. But more importantly, it helps small businesses get their word out, help them. We want everyone in Dillon to be over at our stadium.
Well, it kind of, sorry for interrupting, but what you're basically saying is the mantra of the whole thing. This is Dillon's stadium.
Absolutely. Yep.
And so bringing all the local artists, cooks, whatever in, that's going to make it even more special.
Yep.
So, yeah.
No, that's the goal of this whole thing.
Not that the hot dogs you serve are that bad, but...
She's got enough on her plate during a game day.
I don't have to go make hot dogs at 8 a.m. in the morning now.
Yeah.
Or the nacho
on top
cheese.
of everything else.
Yep.
Yeah. No, it's you guys are, I would like to be in your shoes, but then I'm also very glad I'm not in your shoes.
Right.
And I know, talking to alums around, I talked to one of our women basketball alums, and just out of the blue, and we just talked BS for a little bit, and then she said, how about our stadium? And she graduated in like 80 or 81, but it's her stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And so that alumni feeling that you're talking about, it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. Yeah. So, Michael, Lindsey, thank you for taking time out of a day. Probably you were planning on a nap this afternoon and stuff like that. And this is exciting. As you mentioned, I am a proud alum.
Good.
And it's exciting. It's really exciting. So September, now this is September 6th. Is that open to the public?
It's open to the public. It's, we've put it out there. We'll be thanking donors kind of in a unique, special way that if they've contributed to the stadium, which there's still plenty of time to contribute to the stadium. Just reach out to Roxanne or myself, and I'm happy to help. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things to kind of give them the, take a look at it for the first glance, and just kind of see what to expect. We were hoping to have an event a couple weeks earlier just to kind of, hey, this is new, take a look. But, it's just an opportunity for everyone to come. Then we encourage everyone to head over to the high school and cheer on the Beavers to a victory as they start to defend their title. And, that's the biggest thing.
Okay. And then September 7th, Eastern Oregon, the Mountaineers come to town, and we're officially on. In fact, Lindsey, you and I had talked about, we always do, our extra points with Coach Norse. This one, the first one, we're talking about doing, this is something I talked to this girl about 3 or 4 months ago, was it, or maybe further. Jeremy was in on the conversation too. And as soon as I told her that we wanted to do the extra point from the 50-yard line, she already had it figured out what we're going to do, what furniture we're going to have and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So my alma mater is very blessed to have you guys get us through this and stuff like that. So Michael Feuling, Lindsey Branch, thank you very much for taking time out of a very busy day. And go Dogs.
Yes, thank
Absolutely.
you.
That's it for Southwestern Montana News today, brought to you by Dennis Scherg of Edward Jones, 82 Coffee Company, Susan McCrae Accounting, Dream Motors, and Town & Country Foods. And I should say, Extra Point on Southwestern Montana News. We'll see you next time.